I'm back.
The following announcement has been paid for by
The ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sport.
that excitement? And also,
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
I'm here live from Lincoln Financial.
I can't wait till this video's over so I can say its name anymore.
Music.
Wow.
Again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goofy.
What the hell? What is that? Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called? I see that coming.
Man, it feels good to be back. This is the ENN Podcast. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wild here at Bar 4133, representing the all-new Heart Killer Media. Thanks to all of the old viewers and welcome to all of the new viewers. We are back for the 2024 season, and you are going to see a complete revamp of this channel. Not only will you get the Philadelphia Eagles and sports at Heart Killer Media, but you're going to get entertainment. You're going to get music, movie reviews, professional wrestling, and just daily life. Working on a big day in the life series with myself as you get to see everything that I go through in wrestling and some of the businesses that I've been starting up. And it's going to be absolutely awesome. But we're here to talk Philadelphia Eagles. And I wanted to start off this season on a high note. And I could talk about all of the great things that the Eagles have done in the offseason. I could talk about Saquon Barkley. I could talk about the trade for Jahan Dotson. The draft, which was awesome, getting some of the stud cornerbacks that they got. I could talk about the revamped linebackers that I actually really like. But we're going to start this season off talking about somebody that I actually don't like, somebody that I've despised since 2017, and he just continues to creep into my Philadelphia Eagles fandom, and that's Nick Wright of First Take. Now, Nick Wright came out this week predicting all of the conferences, and of course, he predicted the Philadelphia Eagles to actually finish third and miss the playoffs, representing the NFC East, in one of the most absurd predictions that I can ever remember hearing. And I have a reason why, and I think I know why that Nick Wright does this. And you know, every year these guys are welcoming new viewers, and every year they know that the Philadelphia fan base, whether it's the Phillies, the Sixers, or the Eagles, honorable mentions to the Flyers, but definitely the Eagles, if you talk trash on the Eagles in any way, true or not true, we're going to click on your stuff and we're going to complain on your stuff, and we are going to engage in your stuff and give you all of those things that make you all of that money. And it works every time. So instead of commenting on his video or commenting about him on X or Instagram or TikTok, I'm doing it here at the ENN Podcast with Heart Killer Media. And there's a reason why Nick Wright has been coming after the Eagles, or said this about the Eagles. And before I get to that, let's just talk about his reasoning here. So he picks the Giants to come in fourth, which everybody probably has. Next would be the Commanders, but no. He picks the Eagles, reasoning being because they fell apart last year. The quarterback and the coach don't get along. They lost a Hall of Fame center. And he predicts that the Eagles not only miss the playoffs, but they fire Nick Sirianni by midseason. Then he goes on to put the Commanders at number 2, for the sole reason being that he thinks Jalen Daniels is going to have a good rookie year. Not the rest of his career, but just a good rookie year he's going to have. And by the way, Dan Quinn too. The Commanders have Dan Quinn as head coach. So yeah, that's going to work out for them, and that's going to put them in second place of the East. And then the good old Dallas Cowboys are going to be the first team in 20 years to win back-to-back NFC East championships. And that being because they finally inked CeeDee Lamb at the last second. They probably have the best defense in the East, and he believes they have the best quarterback in the East, and he leaves it at that. Well, let's go ahead and just plug in some holes to that, something that I'm sure Nick Wright doesn't do often. Okay, the Giants at 4, sure. Yeah, why not? Daniel Jones, I mean, that's all I have to say there. At number 3, he puts the Eagles. I put the Commanders because, again, I do think Jalen Daniels is going to have a good year, but they're a team with a lot of just pieces. They're not a team. Dan Quinn, I don't think is going to get this Washington team to compete at a level where they're going to be number 2 in the East. They just gave up a wide receiver, a really good wide receiver, their first-round pick from 2 years ago. Daniels literally has nobody else to throw to. Eckler is a running back and is old, and Marcus Mariota, God forbid Jalen Daniels misses any time, is going to have to be the quarterback. And then, of course, I would go to Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles at 1. But let me explain what Nick Wright did not want to explain to everybody, and his main reasoning here between the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles, and he has the Cowboys at 1. He says the Eagles lost a Hall of Famer, and I agree. Jason Kelsey is going to be hard to replace. I think Cam Jurgens is going to do a good job, but Kelsey's a Hall of Famer, one of the best centers, if not best, in the league history, dare I say. But the Dallas Cowboys also lost a Hall of Famer. He plays for the Jets now. His name's Tyron Smith, and he plays left tackle, one of the most important positions on the offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys also really don't have a running back. I mean, they brought in Ezekiel Elliott, who my grandfather, God rest his soul, could probably jump out of his grave and run faster than. The Eagles, on the other hand, added Saquon Barkley, who has a chip the size of my head, and I have a pretty big head, on his shoulder, ready to just finally run behind a offensive line that isn't complete garbage for the first time. He says that the Cowboys have the better quarterback. Now, we can sit here and debate, and you see all the Eagles stuff, and of course I'm going to pull from my guy. I know my guy played in the Super Bowl. He played damn well in the Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs every year. And he's got some great weapons this year. And yes, he had them last year, but what he didn't have is another thing that the Eagles gained this year that Nick Wright won't talk to you about. He gained an actual offensive coordinator, because Brian Johnson, as good as a quarterback coach Brian Johnson might have been, it was year number 1 as an offensive coordinator, and whether it was him calling the plays or Nick calling the plays, it didn't work out. It was a mess the entire year. Yes, even through the 10-1, it was a mess. And he's got Kellen Moore, who unfortunately had to play with a team or coach a team last year that had a lot of injuries, including its quarterback Justin Herbert, who is, again, it's a redemption story for Kellen Moore, redemption for Jalen Hurts. And if you follow Jalen Hurts' career, anytime there's redemption involved, the guy always comes back stronger. We talk about Dan Quinn. Nick Wright loves Dan Quinn. Well, guess what? The Dallas Cowboys lost Dan Quinn because he was their defensive coordinator. So they did lose him as well. They lost Deron Bland. They lose for 6 to 8 weeks. They don't have a number 2 corner at this point. Gilmore signed with the Vikings, so he's not there. There's been so much bad juju, and I'm not talking about Smith-Schuster, but bad juju with the Dallas Cowboys. And it was like the Eagles last year. They had that bad juju. Whenever you start a season off like that, it's just never good. I think the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think they're going to, I'm not ready to put them at 3, but I'm not ready to put them at 1. I think the Eagles run away with this division. It's not just because I'm an Eagles fan. I mean, I'm talking about the stuff that they gained. They literally had no secondary last year. James Bradbury was running through quicksand the entire year. Slay was hurt. They went ahead. They went to the draft. They got a guy that they should have no business getting without trading for. And Kenyon Mitchell. They get Cooper DeJean. They get Jeremiah Trotter Jr. at linebacker. And again, just him alone is better than probably all the guys that they had at linebacker last year. Devin White comes in. It's such a better built team. The vibes around the team are different. Everything's different with this football team. Vic Fangio comes in at defensive coordinator, who's one of the best to ever do it. The Eagles lost Matt Patricia. So the Cowboys lose Dan Quinn. The Eagles lose Matt Patricia. I mean, it's insane to me. But there's a reason why Nick Wright does this. I'm going to tell you why he does this. In 2017, Nick Foles, Doug Peterson, and the Philadelphia Eagles made an absolute joke out of Nick Wright. Made him look like a clown, and he has never recovered from
The
that.
Philadelphia Eagles sit at 8-1, Nick. Are you convinced the Eagles are the best team in the National Football Conference?
No, I am not. They have the best record in the NFC. They are one of the good teams in the NFC. But one of the reasons we do power rankings or things similar to that, instead of simply printing off the standings, is we have to have some discerning. We have to be a little discerning between who has the best record.
Even when his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, he still had that bad taste about 2017. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Of my partner Chris Carter, I'm going to call his former team pretenders. I think every team that makes the playoffs in the NFC has a better shot of making the Super Bowl than your number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles. To me, the defense had looked shaky the last 3 weeks prior to this one. I do not trust Nick Foles.
Foles launches downfield. Smith, touchdown!
I do not trust Nick Foles.
And now Nick Foles has taken his team to Super Bowl 52.
I know it has to go through the link. I still think the Eagles are the one NFC playoff team that's a pretender.
They haven't lost there this season.
That is correct.
What a night in Philadelphia. Doug Peterson and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to Super Bowl 52.
then what happens? The Eagles beat Bill Belichick, and they beat Tom Brady, and they win the Super Bowl. So now all season and the postseason, you got this dork, Nick Wright, looking like a complete asshole, for lack of a better term, and he just hasn't been able to wipe that clear. He just hasn't. So he's going to do this every year. He's going to do it every single year that he has to, and he has. He's done it every year. He did it in 2022. He just continues to do it and show his hand, and that's why clowns like Nick Wright, you just can't buy. And guys, I don't want to continue to ramble on and make this too long. This has been an awesome first video back for the 2024 season. Yeah, it's about that loser Nick Wright, but it's also about some of the things that the Eagles did right in this offseason, and I'm absolutely looking forward to this season, man. A lot of just exciting things have happened. With that being said, guys, follow me on my socials at the Chris Wild on Twitter, Wild Entertainment on TikTok, as you're going to see a lot of little different TikTok videos about the Eagles at times. And of course, here on YouTube and Heart Killer Media. Again, it's been great, guys. I will see you in a couple days. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds, and I'll see you later.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! I need Eagle Nation to stand.